Hello and welcome. My name is Anthony, one half of Reyony. And today, we are starting the Great Ace Attorney Adventures via the Chronicles collection for the Nintendo Switch. Thank you for tuning in. I'm very excited, actually. Happy Sunday afternoon to everyone. It's a little warm where we are. So apologies if I have to stop to turn on the AC, but hope you guys are having a great weekend so far. It's been what, a week, maybe more since the last stream where we finished up Super Mario Galaxy for the first time. That was a lot of fun. It was pretty much as much fun as I was hoping to have, considering how little fun I had with Super Mario Sunshine before that. But starting about halfway through my Galaxy playthrough, I was starting to feel hungry for a story. A game with a story that makes me motivated to start up the next play session, start up the next stream, and wonder about what's going on with the characters, wondering what's going to happen next in the story. And so I asked you guys for recommendations, and thank you very much for taking the time to share your recommendations and advocating for all kinds of cool games, short games, long games, all kinds of games. But this one, the Great Ace Attorney Adventures, was recommended quite a while ago, but it's been bumped a couple times. And the first time it was recommended, I actually bought the physical copy. And I thought, maybe now's the time. A game that's straight up a, I guess these are technically visual novels. It's all about the story. I'm excited to see how I get along with them. The Great Ace Attorney Adventures and its sequel, The Great Ace Attorney 2... something other word. It must say. It doesn't even say on the back. Great Ace Attorney Adventures and Great Ace Attorney 2 Resolve were both originally for the Nintendo 3DS and only in Japan. It wasn't until this collection of remasters was released in 2021 that these were available elsewhere. So we got it. We got both games in one in Chronicles. But today we're playing the first one. I'm excited. I do have some experience with the Ace Attorney Phoenix Wright games. I played the first Phoenix Wright, not the Game Boy Advance version, but the Nintendo DS version of it. A lot. Did I play it a lot? I played it and enjoyed it. I remember the microphone gimmick on the Nintendo DS where you could say into the microphone, "Objection, take that." What a cool gimmick, really fun. GBA didn't even release in America, I think. Okay, gotcha. So when it was the first Phoenix Wright available in America, which would have been Ace Attorney in the on the DS. Of which I think some of the stories within it were remasters of the GBA ones, and then some were brand new to the DS one. But regardless, we're here to play the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles, and in my little bit of research, it seems like fans of the franchise, for the most part, agree that these two Great Ace Attorney games are some of the best of the franchise. And that excites me, because I already liked the first one. This one, I believe, takes place in the past, in the 1800s, with an ancestor of Phoenix Wright himself. What's up, Rapthor? Happy Sunday. Thanks for tuning in, Blossom. Shout out to Blossom for recommending this game. Hopefully we enjoy it. But as usual, or rather, as with our new directive this year, we're checking it out. No promises. I hope to enjoy it. I expect to enjoy it. But will I enjoy it enough to feel at the end of this stream compelled to do another stream. We will see. We'll ask ourselves that at the end of the stream and at the end of each stream, and just move forward and hope to maintain motivation momentum. Otherwise, you know, we'll move on. As much as it hurts to say, that's just how it's going to be now. But let's check it out. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Appreciate you. As with a new game, let me know if audio levels need to be adjusted. I think the title screen music's going to be a little loud, but I want you guys to enjoy the audio, the music, the voice acting. By the way, this game does have voice acting. I've decided on English. It doesn't have voice acting throughout the entire game, but where there is, it's going to be in English. So let me know if it's too loud. I do think it'll be a little loud. So here we are. As long as you can hear me clearly. I don't want the game to be quiet. Okay. We're in it. Okay, let's check out the options real quick. Kinda, yeah, a little loud. Let's see when we get into the game. I think here it'll be loud. The game's music is 10 out of 10. I'm very excited. All right, I think I did check out some of these. Enable or disable the skipping of unread text in the main game, as in when it's new. Yeah, right there, you know. There's not a lot. English. All right. We are going to start The Great Ace Attorney Adventures. But here's the sequel. Resolve. It is Resolve. Okay. New game. I'm very excited. Dude, full anime cutscene.
The Empire of Japan. After opening its doors, a push for cultural transformation brought great waves of Western influence to this far eastern island nation. The revolution washed over the land, making life in the capital exciting and unsettling. It was a period of great change.
Probably loud, right?
Some was swept away by the tide.
I'll bring it down just a notch. Let me know. Level seems okay? Okay, now tell me if it's quiet.
But for one man, the turbulence of that era was just the beginning of an extraordinary story.
Oh, the voice acting seems lowish in-game? Gotcha. Well, I can't change that. How do you pronounce that? Supreme Court of Judicature. I don't think that's a hard C, is it? Judicature? Judicature? Supreme Court of Judicature. Defendants Antechamber 5. Couture? Maybe K. Judiciary. Judish. Is it sh or s? Alright, we'll never know then. Oh, sorry. We can look at the history. We can autoplay, which I don't think I will. And we have options. Records. Use Google Translate. Okay. I still can't believe it. Oh, I should have made hot tea instead. I just have this another can bottle of Boss Coffee. Black Silky. And it says here, Silky stands for stylish, intelligent, luxurious, keeps you relaxed. Yeah, I should have made tea. My mistake. But this coffee is pretty smooth. I still can't believe it. I still can't believe this is happening. Can we make that a little faster? We don't really have that option, huh? I don't want to spam it and accidentally skip something. Okay. How can it be that just beyond the doors to this quiet little chamber is the highest court in Japan, waiting to decide my fate? Bailiff. What? Oh, no, nothing. Save your glares, murderer. Sorry. My name is Yunosuke Naruhodo. I'm a second-year student at the Imperial Yume University. 3 days ago, I somehow found myself in the middle of a horrifying incident. And now, here I am, awaiting my trial. That's enough. He's not obliged to listen to such abuse, officer. And who are you? I'm this man's lawyer. I'll be defending him today. Lawyer? Yes. And until the judge has given his verdict on the case, no one has the right to treat him as a criminal. So you will hold your tongue. Technicalities. Look at you. You haven't even graduated yet. And yet, I still seem to know better than you. I still seem to know better than you how a court officer should behave. Right. Ryunosuke? Oh, yes, of course. Sorry. What are you apologizing to me for? Oh, no. I suppose that wasn't my fault. But really, Kazuma, I never meant to drag you into this. I'm sorry. There you go again, apologizing. Just like always. Though I must say, you've been all over the newspapers these past few days. Yume University professor murdered in cold blood by student. But obviously, you didn't actually do it, did you? Of course not. You have to believe me. I didn't do it. I could never murder someone. Then there's nothing to worry about. Straighten yourself up. Hold your head high. You mean... I believe you. I know you're innocent, Ryunosuke. Kazuma Asogi, my best friend, also in his second year at Yume University. But he's far more clever than I, a star student in fact. He's even a qualified lawyer. Impressive, considering he's still an undergraduate. It's not that impressive. Wait, was I saying all of that out loud, or can you read my mind? The very concept of lawyers is only a few years old, here in Japan anyway. My qualifications don't mean much, yet. You said exactly the same thing 3 days ago. But I'm proud to have a friend like you, Kazuma, truly. 3 days ago. Yes, that's when all this started. Congratulations, Kazuma! It looks like you're going to get to study abroad at last. Let me see if I press the button to advance it. Oh shit, okay. Don't press B. I know, I've been forever dreaming of this day. Finally, those government elites have acknowledged my academic achievements and successes in court. I just should have done vocal warm-ups before the stream. Raptor with the first, thank you. So you'll be representing Japan as you immerse yourself in the most sophisticated legal system in the world. I'm really happy for you and proud as your friend. There's not a soul in the university who doesn't know Kazuma's name. He's a living legend. It's like there's some mysterious aura billowing around his temple. I want to bring about change in our own legal system. That's why I have to cross the ocean to see the real thing with my own eyes. The heart of the British Empire. I wish I could see it too. Then come with me. We'd have a wild time tearing up the streets of Her Majesty's City of London together. If only it were that simple. Oh dear, look at the time. I'd better be going. Alright, I'll see you later. I think I'll stay and enjoy this place a while longer. Good idea. After all, it's not every day you get to visit a high-class Western restaurant like this. See you in English class tomorrow. Then, partner. It was straight after that. That's when it happened. Asogi, may I have a word? Professor, I didn't know you were coming. Well, this case has personal significance to me. But never mind that for now. Asogi, you should go immediately to the judge's chambers. To His Excellency's chambers? Why? He was looking for you before. You advocating for the defense in this trial was a sudden decision. It seems there may be some confusion about procedures today as a result. Who is this man? I feel as though I've seen him at university before. I see. I'll go at once then. I shall accompany you. Alright then, Ryunosuke. I'll see you in the courtroom. Yes, thanks, Kazuma. Ugh, this is awkward. If I may? Yes, sorry? You must be the defendant. Ryunosuke Naruhodo, I believe. Yes, that's right. My name is Yujin Mikotoba. I'm a professor of forensic medicine at Yume University. Ah, Professor Mikotoba. I've heard that name from Kazuma before. As I recall, he's been pushing to get the government to agree to Kazuma studying abroad. Asogi has told me about you. You and he are best friends, I understand. As such, I feel you should know. Know what? Well, as you've no doubt heard, Asogi has been granted permission to go and study in Great Britain. However, if he should fail to defend you in today's trial, I'm afraid that permission will be revoked and never granted again. Uh-oh. High stakes in a lot of ways. What? As I suspected. You were unaware of this. I had a feeling Asogi may have chosen not to tell you. He's agreed to defend me, knowing that if he fails, his dreams will be shattered. But I don't understand. Why would the government do such a thing? The administration has to choose from a large number of applicants for overseas study. It's very difficult to persuade them to grant permission, even in the most favorable of circumstances. I don't believe it. But I didn't do it. I swear it. I'm not a murderer. Yes. It is a pun. Just like Phoenix Wright's name is a pun. Like right as in right and wrong. In Japan, what was Phoenix Wright's name? It's also Naruhodo. I think, yeah. I think the game, from the little bit that I've played, is somewhat of a miracle of localization in terms of being able to find a way to convey similar puns and jokes. I'm sure that's true. Nevertheless, I can assure you that proving your innocence will be no easy task. You see, there are certain peculiarities about today's trial. Oh. Sorry? What do you mean? You'll soon understand once proceedings get underway. Huh? But then what should I do? Well, naturally, I'm not going to suggest doing anything that could lead to a conviction. Right, so as soon as the trial starts, the judge will pose a certain question to the defense. When that happens, you must answer before anyone else. You must say, "I do." Oh, Blossom. Gotcha. This is sketch. I do. But what will the question be? Surely not, do you accept the accusations brought before you? Of course not. Defendant! Court is about to begin. Proceed to the courtroom at once. It would seem our surreptitious discussions are to be cut short. So allow me to summarize. Kazuma Asoki must not be the defense lawyer in this trial. Whoa. Of course, as the defendant, the final decision is yours. What are you waiting for? Do you want to be found guilty for failing to appear? Get moving. There's no point in anyone advocating for the likes of you anyway. So rude. This is it. If this trial goes badly, Kazuma's dreams of studying abroad are over. And what's more, I'll be found guilty of murder. And so, with absolutely no idea of what lay ahead, I embarked on that unforgettable trial. My one and only chance of proving my innocence. The trial that would decide my destiny. Judicature. I hope it's not that. Judicature. So this is a courtroom. He's so upset. Well, I would be too. The Supreme Court of Judicature. No court in the land has more power. I don't much like the look of those people sitting in the public gallery. Lots of military and other uniforms in there. Wait, is it really? What? Duh? Like duck? Ew. The powers that be have demanded that this be a secret trial. A secret trial? A trial that's closed to ordinary members of the public. Only military and government officials may attend. What? But why? It'll become clear in time. But for now, you need to concentrate, Renosuke. It's about to begin. Does the other attorney look just like the one from the first game? The court will now hear the trial of Renosuke Naruhodo. Ouchie. The prosecution is ready, Your Excellency. As is the defense. Pain and ouchie is... That's great. Oh. Before we begin, there's one point of order I would like to confirm. Oh, we have to say I do, right? But do we listen to that guy? We don't even know who he is. Oh, we don't know if we should trust him. Yesterday evening, the defense made a last-minute request for a change of advocate. That's correct, Your Excellency. Look how nervous he is. I made the request myself. Normal procedure is for the defendant's advocacy to be decided 2 days prior to trial. As this is an unusual circumstance, I am obliged to ask for final confirmation now. Who advocates for the defendant in this trial? Wait, was that other professor just trying to get our friend off the hook and dismiss him? Who advocates for the defendant in this trial? This is it. This must be the question. Who's going to defend me? That's the question the professor meant. But then, if I say I do, I need to answer quickly. What should I do? What? No, I don't want to say I do. I don't know him. Trust my friend. I trust my friend. Kazuma is the lawyer here. I can't defend myself. If I said I do, it would be tantamount to lying. See? By the way, how's the audio levels? I did turn it down a notch from the beginning. I want you guys to be able to enjoy the music, but still hear me clearly. If there's room for me to turn up the audio too, let me know. How good his open mouth expression is? Yeah. It looks great so far. And I've been accused of murder, for goodness sake. This is no time for lies. For now seems fine, okay. Try to stop fidgeting, Renosuke. It's distracting. But if I don't say I'll defend myself now, things could end very badly for my friend. Your Excellency, no confirmation is needed. As I'm standing here beside the defendant, I hope it's clear.
Yes!
What is the meaning of this unruly outburst? I would like to inform the court that... No, he's just trying to help his friend, right? But you didn't commit the crime. I, Renosuke Naruhodo, will be defending myself. You'll be... What? What are you playing at, Renosuke? Professor Mikotoba told me everything, just now, before the trial. He did what? He said that your dreams of studying abroad would be dashed if you were to lose. How sad. It means you don't have faith in me. I have faith in you. Me, the player? You think I won't be able to get you off? No, it's not that, really. It's just that, well, on the off chance that things don't go well for me, I couldn't bear to be the reason that you... Yes. I knew that's how you would feel, which is exactly why I decided not to tell you. I mean, sure, Blossom, but we're just barely starting. Professor Mikotoba shouldn't have stuck his nose in. Very well. The court hereby recognizes the defendant's desire to advocate for himself in today's trial. Well, well. Does the accused admit defeat already? Renouncing his own counsel, really?
Objection!
Make no mistake, counsel. This merely shows that the defendant's innocence is so apparent, he's confident he can speak for himself. Isn't that so, Naruhodo-san? Oh, yes, exactly. Exactly what I wasn't thinking. I'm not confident at all. In fact, my mind's a complete blank. I realize you're in charge now, but still, try not to look so bewildered. Well, for a mere university student to be brought before the Supreme Court, you must have perpetrated a most heinous crime indeed. As you are no doubt aware, this is the Supreme Court. Shit! Judicature of Japan. Accordingly, the very highest standards of conduct are expected of all present. Do I make myself clear, Defendant Naruhodo? Yes, Your Excellency. It is therefore my duty to assess your competence for the task you have undertaken. My competence? What does that mean? He's questioning your ability to do the job. Well, he can't be questioning it more than I am. So, let's start with the very simplest of questions. Yes. Kindly state before the court the name of the victim in this case. Well, that's easy enough. I've heard his names more times than I care to remember. But, wait. I'm so nervous. I can't even remember that. What was it again? Ryunosuke. Let me guess. Your mind's gone blank? You know me so well. All the relevant information for this case can be found in the court record. But I can't even find that. It's simple. You can access the court record with a press of R. If you ever find you've forgotten something, just consult that. It's all in there. Just have to press R for the court record? Alright, there's no time to lose. This is the list of evidence you've collected. Now try switching to people instead with R. You'll find fine details about the victim in here. When you're done, just press B to go back. Kazuma Asogi, best friend. Yujin Mikotoba, authority of forensic medicine. Taketsuchi Aochi, the lead prosecutor of the case, who would appear to have little love for the changes the Cultural Reformation has brought about. John H. Wilson, the victim of the case. He was a visiting professor of medicine at Yume University from the British Empire. You can always go in. John H. Wilson. University collar pin. Proof that I'm a student at the Imperial Yume University. I always wear it on the collar of my uniform jacket. Post-mortem report. Death occurred a little after 2 p.m. and was caused by loss of blood from a gunshot to the chest. The bullet did not pass through the victim's body. John H. Wilson. Single bullet fired at close range, fatal hemorrhage from pectoral ballistic trauma, no exit wound, bullet did not pass through the body. Now, you'd better not keep His Excellency waiting any longer. Go on. Find the victim in the People section of the court record, then press X to present. Try it now.
Yes!
Yes. The victim's name was Dr. John H. Wilson. Well, at least you can remember the name of an esteemed member of your own university. Dr. Wilson was a visiting professor from England, invited to Yume University 3 years ago. Indeed, which is the reason why this case has such profound implications. The British Empire is at present our country's most valuable foreign ally, And as most of you will be aware, we have just signed a new treaty together after lengthy negotiations. There can't be anyone who hasn't heard of the Anglo-Japanese Treaty of Friendship and Navigation. And yet, despite these delicate circumstances, the blood of an Englishman has been spilt on our soil. You two are both undergraduates at the Imperial Yume University, are you not? Murdering a professor from the very institution that provides your education. Have you no honor? But I didn't do it. This case is coming under great scrutiny from our allies on the other side of the world. The court therefore wishes for a speedy resolution to this matter. In other words, our feeble government is scared of upsetting England's policymakers. And you're a convenient and expendable scapegoat to blame for this crime. So that's why this trial has these unusual peculiarities, is it? Sounds real. Exactly. Our government needs to convict someone as quickly as possible. All because the victim was an Englishman. Yes, Dr. Wilson was an Englishman. But nationalities and treaties won't make any difference for me here. The fact is, I was there at the scene of the crime. Oh dear, look at the time. I'd better be going. Alright, I'll see you later. I think I'll stay and enjoy this place a little longer. Good idea. After all, it's not every day you get to visit a high-class Western restaurant like this. See you in English class tomorrow then, partner. The British Empire. Wow, it's incredible to think. Wait. I've seen that man at university. I'm sure he's a visiting professor from Great Britain. I don't know his name, but still. I should go and say hello. So I went over to the professor's table and introduced myself to Dr. Wilson. Now then, let me pose my next question to you, Defendant Naruhodo. Yes, Your Excellency. How did this professor of medicine, Dr. John H. Wilson, lose his life? State before the court the cause of death. Cause of death? Well, obviously, that was, Rinosuke. Remember that in court, every assertion must be backed up by evidence. By evidence? But how? Find the piece of evidence that shows the professor's cause of death and select present. Do it now.
Yes!
Well, according to this document, the victim suffered a hemorrhagic death due to gunshot trauma. Learn to read, you imbecile. That's the post-mortem report, I take it. Sorry, yes, that's right. The, post-mortem report. In the West, a doctor dissects corpses to identify the cause of death in an autopsy. But here in Japan, a police officer merely inspects the body and draws conclusions that way. Oh, I see. As long as I'm not going to be tested on any of this later. This is a so-called photographic print of the scene of the crime. You can clearly discern scorch marks around the bullet hole produced by the powder explosion. In other words, we should assume that the victim was shot at close range. Thank you, counsel. The court will accept this modern scientific evidence into the record. The photographic print of the victim has been entered into the court record. So that's a photographic print. Well, that's something I've never seen before. It's clearly superior to a drawing. The detail is incredible. Very well. I'm satisfied with your answers. Let us start the trial. What the hell? Certainly, Your Excellency. Praise the sun, I guess. So without further ado, in order to better apprise the court with the facts of the case, the prosecution hereby calls its first witness, who was there at the scene of the crime when it happened. This is it then. I think I may have worked out what the professor had in mind. The professor? You mean Dr. Mikotoba? Yes, clearly you're the defense lawyer today, not me, but that doesn't mean... Well, I can still act as your assistant. Of course. When he was speaking with me before, he simply said, Kazuma Asogi must not be the defense lawyer in this trial. He really has been sticking his oar in, hasn't he? Maybe, but any help you can give me would be greatly appreciated, Kazuma. Well, my first piece of advice is, rein in that crazy look of bewilderment and control the cold sweats. Only if you rein in that crazy headband and control the cold stares first. Oh, okay. Witness, state your name and occupation for the court, please. Of course. My name is Satoru Hosonaga. I'm the head waiter at a Western-style restaurant called Le Carnival. What the heck? Are you okay? Are you alright? You seem to be coughing up some, It's a regular occurrence. It really doesn't bother me, okay? What bothers me? Well, it really, really should. As everyone knows, the capital's southeastern quarter was developed for foreign visitors some years ago. It's become a very fashionable district now, full of hotels to accommodate overseas guests. This grim crime occurred in one of the district's so-called restaurants, an Occidental eatery, 3 days ago. Understood, Hosonaga-san. You will kindly tell the court everything you can about the incident. At once, sir. Okay, let me take a quick break right now, and I'm actually going to get some tea with honey in it. I think I really need it. I'm enjoying it. I don't want it to be hindered by my voice failing. So we'll be back in just a few minutes. Thank you very much for your patience. Thank you for your patience. We are back. I got my hot tea. It's a little hot, but I should wait for it to cool, huh? I just burned myself. Alright, Hosonaga. Seen the court record now? Yes. Satoru Hosonaga, the head waiter for the European-style restaurant Le Carnival. He was serving there on the day of the incident. I'm gonna try sitting up more straight, too, because I think slouching is affecting my voice. At once, sir. And no petty interjections from the aspiring lawyer boy, please. Oh, perspiring maybe, but aspiring. It was just after 2 p.m. on the day in question. We have few diners at that time of day. The lunchtime rush was over, and there were only 3 tables still occupied. 3, huh? That fits in with my memory of it too. There was hardly anyone else in the place. Me too, minus the blood. It was when I was in the kitchen putting away crockery, and cutlery. A gunshot rang out, so I hurried out to the dining area to see what had happened. I found the victim, an English gentleman, slumped in his chair. And standing immediately beside him, gun in hand, was the accused university student. Yes! Hold on. Let me just clarify something here. while I did pick up a gun that I found lying on the floor beside the professor, I didn't shoot him.
Objection!
I believe I asked you to refrain from petty interjections. The court wishes to listen to the witness's report of what he saw, you amateur. But the next time you interrupt at an inappropriate time, you will be penalized, Defendant Naruhodo. Don't worry, Ryunosuke. You'll have your chance to fight back. For now, we must just quietly listen to the witness. If I may confirm one point, waiter. Standing beside the victim with a gun in his hand was the same man we see here in court today? Yes, without question. I see. And apart from the accused, was there anyone else standing beside the victim? Hey, I'm doing okay, Slamwise. What's up? Thanks for tuning in. Hope you're having a good weekend. No, there was no one else around the table but the deceased Englishman and the university student. He said 3 tables. Huh? Wait, what did he just say? There was no one else around that table. What's the matter, Ryunosuke? That's just not right. When I went over to Dr. Wilson to say hello, there was a woman sitting opposite him at his table. Nice. I hear a lot of people are having fun with it. Really? And that's not something the waiter could have missed. I've been warned about interjecting, but still, what should I do? Wait and see. We'll wait for our time. I desperately want to say something, but I was told not to interject. Ryunosuke, if your parents tell you to study, you're the kind of man who would diligently get to work, aren't you? I suppose I am. I'd never got into Yume University otherwise. Whoa, okay, but you can't just always follow the rules in life, you know? If you don't say what you want to say right now, you'll seriously regret it when you're found guilty. Alright, you've scared me. I won't forget that piece of advice in a hurry. And there is something I want to say. I'm just going to shut my eyes and say it. Wait, this is not... We're figuring out the rules here, because I don't think it's time for my cross-examination yet, is it? I'm supposed to just listen to the full testimony first. Alright, we'll see.
Yes!
Yeah, I played the first Nintendo DS one, Slamwise, but apparently these 2 games, the great Ace Attorney games, are some of the best in the franchise, so we'll see. Just a moment, please! Dr. Wilson wasn't alone that day. I'm sure of it. There was a lady sitting with him at the same table.
Objection!
Dear me, dear me. What are we going to do with you? With your blatant disregard for court proceedings, I'm beginning to wonder if you're not a fraud. Could it be that the accused, this mere student, is not a real lawyer after all? But I'm sure of what I saw. Hosonaga-san, is there any chance you're mistaken? Perhaps your memory of events is hazy? No. The deceased gentleman came to dine alone. I don't believe it. I actually have a rough plan of the restaurant as it was that day. It's in the past for sure. It's in the 1800s. What does the game say? What does the box say? Set in late 19th century Japan. Yeah, so the late 1800s. Please, have a look if you'd like to. Let me see. A sketch of the establishment's layout drawn by yourself, I presume? That's right. I'm afraid I used the back of my business card. It was a turbulent situation. However, as you can see, the gentleman in question was seated alone. Well, you're clearly a very conscientious waiter. Thank you, sir. The court will take this plan and add it to the court record as evidence. Oh, well... Is there a problem? Hand the plan to the court officer at once. It's the other side of it. Uh-oh, this is sketch. He's not the waiter. What was that about? He's been completely calm and collected until now. He needs some tea. Something certainly seems to have shaken him. The waiter's business card has been entered into the court record. So, the court has now heard a precis. What does that mean? A summary or abstract of a text or speech. How do you pronounce it? Précis. Thank you, Google. Thank you, Slamwise. Précis. The court has now heard a précis of the case. Yes, at the moment the gunshot was heard in the restaurant, the only person in close proximity to the victim was the defendant on trial today. It would seem we are looking at a black and white case here. Defendant Naruhodo? Yes, Your Excellency. If you admit your guilt at this stage, the court is willing to look mercifully upon you. In other words, you may have some small reprieve in terms of your inevitable punishment. I called this waiter as an unsworn witness in order to explain the details of the case to the court. Huh? But I must warn the defense, if you are determined to pursue matters further in this trial. The prosecution has decisive evidence from sworn witnesses who were present at the scene of the crime. What do you think I should do, Kazuma? What do you mean? Well, I'm gonna be found guilty one way or another, it seems. Wouldn't it be sensible to plead guilty at this stage and hope for a more lenient sentence? Everyone keeps telling me that this trial is unusual, about these peculiarities. You've said it. You've said it. Professor Mikotoba said it. So is the judge and the prosecution. I'm scared of what lies ahead if I push this. As I said from the outset, I believe you're innocent. I trust you. And yet, despite knowing that, you're willing now to throw that trust back in my face? Is that it? What? If the accused is in fact innocent, then a defense lawyer is duty-bound to prove that innocence by whatever means necessary. Are you just going to abandon that duty? Are you going to give up on yourself? The battle hasn't even begun yet, Ryunosuke. The defense pleads not guilty, Your Excellency. We invite the prosecution to stop making empty threats and bring out its witnesses. Then we'll see just how decisive the evidence really is. Let me look at the court record real quick. Let's see what's sketch. Oh, we can't flip it over yet. Magnifying glass. Is it bled through from... It's not going to let us flip this over, huh? Too bad I can't read kanji. Someone's going to talk about how he was halfway through his meal, but it's here in full. Indeed. Prosecutor Auchi, please continue with proceedings. Well, you were warned. The young can be so reckless. You know, many call me a saint, but I can be a devil when I want to be. Ugh. In a few short moments from now, that dumbstruck young mouth of yours will be silenced forever! The prosecution calls its next witnesses. All right, I'm getting my tea ready. Hopefully it's not too hot. Very well, officer. Bring forth the witnesses at once. Oh, sorry, Raptor. I mean the, It did tell us the two words that were marked. Oops. It tells us kitchen and entrance, but what I mean is I would like to flip this business card over, because I'm sure that's important, but some of the kanji is kind of, bleeding through, I think, from the other side. So it's backwards. But that doesn't help me if I can't read the kanji. You see these, like, lighter letters? What I mean is those lighter backwards letters. But I'm sure at the right moment, it'll allow us to flip this over. Witnesses, kindly state your names and occupations for the court. Nosa. Yes, sir. The Great Nippon Imperial Army's Sergeant Iesa Nosa. Reporting for duty, sir. Myself, I find employ as a purveyor of fine articles of antiquity from the efflorescence of our nation, Nippon, and conduct my trade from Rasute, a humble premises in the 2nd District. Curio Korekuta, at your service. At your service. An antique dealer and a soldier. What an unusual pairing. Both of these gentlemen were present at the restaurant on the day in question. Okay. They must be the diners at the other table that the waiter mentioned. Myself, I habitually take tea of the most exquisite aroma at the establishment in question, always post to noon, and not infrequently conversed with interested parties regarding the curios with which I make my business. I can't understand a word that old man is saying. He's an antique dealer. It sounds like he's a regular at Le Carnival. We could, but I'm sure the game will just help us out. Raptor at some point. He seeks out potential customers who may have an interest in antiques and tries to sell his wares to them. He obviously targets Le Carnival because it's a high-class restaurant with a rich clientele. Right, I see. Although, to be honest, that sergeant looks more like he'd be a seller rather than a buyer. Now, you both witnessed the precise moment of this most atrocious incident. Is that correct? Affirmative. The enemy unit was seen attacking the foreigner in what can only be described as an act of war. Sir! It was that black uniformed rogue infantryman over there who unloaded his firearm, sir. This man's as impossible to understand as the other. But I'm almost sure I heard a strange noise during that last thing he said. What? So, this is the decisive evidence the prosecution was threatening. The soldier's claiming that he actually saw the precise moment you shot the victim dead. Yes. Well, are you starting to feel uncomfortable? If I'm honest, I was feeling uncomfortable from the start. Tea. Now, the court will hear your formal testimony, please. You will state everything you saw at the precise moment that the incident occurred. Oh, is he carrying a baby on his back? Did I not hear the sound earlier? Sir, yes, sir. Standing by, ready to report, sir. Unsavory memories of a most acerbic afternoon. What is that word? Acerbic. Sharp and forthright. Sour or bitter. Acerbic. Gotcha. Witness testimony. What the witnesses saw. Here we go. I was ingesting a regulation beefsteak at the restaurant while having a tactical discussion with the old man. Myself, I was extolling the virtues of a particularly fine golden curio to the military gentleman. At that precise moment, a firearm was discharged. I observed the enemy's actions with my own eyes. The black uniformed varsity cadet fired on the English civilian, and from the back, the cowardly little weasel, that's not true, objection. I was on my hands and knees investigating the whereabouts of my mysteriously absconded precious curio. So he didn't see it. Well, so you, Sergeant Nosa, actually witnessed the vital moment. You saw the split second when the defendant fired the weapon at the victim. Yes, sir. Affirmative, sir. That wicked university cadet, sir. The cruel and unforgivable enemy. What the hell? Okay. What times we live in when an English gentleman may be assailed in the broad light of day. But this is ridiculous. I didn't shoot anyone. Is that really true, Ryunosuke? Yes. All I did was pick up the gun that I saw lying on the floor. After I'd said hello to Dr. Wilson, I went back to my table and sat drinking some coffee. Then, when I'd finished, I got up from my seat to leave the restaurant, when I noticed an English-made gun next to the chair where the professor was sitting. I thought perhaps the professor had dropped it, so I bent down, and just as I was picking it up... Oh, shoot. The music's great. Well, if that's the truth, it was obviously a criminal on the scene somewhere. And somewhere in these two witnesses' testimonies, there's a clue as to who that criminal was. There is? Yunosuke, you must exercise your right to cross-examine the witnesses. Cross-examine? Do it now. As we have heard, Your Excellency, there is no room for doubt in the testimony of these witnesses. The defendant is clearly guilty. It is time to bring this despicable student to justice. Certainly, the testimony the court has just heard eliminates any vestige of doubt. Therefore, it is my grave duty to declare the verdict of this trial.
Yes!
So nervous. What in the name of the Emperor is the meaning of this outburst? The defense demands its right to cross-examination. Dear me, dear me. Let me guess. The Hachimaki headband boy next door told me to do it. How pathetic. Huh? How did he know? The prosecution objects. This is a clear waste of time. The defendant obviously has no experience. How can he possibly carry out a cross-examination?
Objection!
The defense is asserting its right to a cross-examination. Whether or not you think he's capable of it is irrelevant. Whether or not you think he's capable of it is irrelevant. Kazuma is so commanding. Very well. Let the defense conduct a cross-examination of the witnesses. Alright, this is where the battle really begins, Ryunosuke. But I don't even know what I have to do in a cross-examination. Isn't it obvious? You have to expose the lies in the witnesses' statements. How? You didn't fire the gun, which means that what that soldier said has to be a lie. Well, yes, but it's just a case of proving it. And the key to doing that is evidence. Right, evidence. All you need to do is present some decisive and indisputable evidence that proves the witness is lying. He said the thing, Raptor. Now let's go, Ryunosuke. Don't let them beat you. Alright then. It's all or nothing. What the witnesses saw. Oh, those are my lives at the top right. Okay, I do remember the flow of this game. You just press every statement to get them to say more stuff. I was ingesting a regulation beefsteak at the restaurant while having a tactical discussion with the old man.
Yes!
Why? Why aren't you saying anything? Is this some new interrogation technique? I hadn't actually thought of what I wanted to ask. Just ask about anything that catches your attention. Anything that bothers you. Alright then, this beefsteak you mentioned. What kind of food is that? Tenshun! Beefsteak is a delicious cut of veal, vigorously cooked on a cast iron grill and served piping hot. Oh. If food could receive medals of honor, beefsteak would be almost as highly decorated as a cutlet. Right, I see. Thank you, sir. So, next question. Wait, then that's not beef, right? Unless I'm confused. This cutlet you mentioned, what kind of food is that? Tenshun. Cutlet is a delicious cut of veal tossed in breadcrumbs and deep fried in cooking oil. Accept your guilty verdict, atone for your crimes, and when you're released from prison, try it! Yes, sir, I will, sir. On the double, sir. Sorry to interrupt, but how about trying to stick to questions that are relevant to the case? Oops, sorry. I'll do my best. So, next question. Is it just me, or do you keep hearing a wah sort of crying? Negative. Well, at least we've learned that he's a big beef lover. Affirmative. It's not easy knowing what questions to ask. I got an achievement? What? Alright. Myself, I was extolling the virtues of a particularly fine golden curio to the military gentleman.
Yes!
I have no idea what you're talking about. A koban, boy. A koban? You mean an old Edo coin? The day prior to the incident, a treasure of exceptional value from the Hoei period entered my possession. I took myself to the restaurant the following day, with said items secreted. It's definitely not secreted, right? With said items secreted in my bosom pocket. It's unusual, but I'm enjoying it. In the hope of an affluent... Oh god. Cognoscente. A connoisseur, a discerning expert. Cognoscenti? Whoa. I've never said that word. In the hope of an affluent cognoscenti appraised of its indisputable value being present. Totally made up. Yeah, feels like it. So, you were hoping to sell your Koban coin? To Sergeant Nosa, whom you met at the restaurant? Yes, it's quite clear where you're going with this, boy. You were about to assert that a penniless soldier would have no hope of purchasing a precious Koban. Isn't that so? Well, you little upstart cadet. You want to add disrespecting a superior officer to your list of crimes, do you? Blatant subordination. No, I didn't say anything. Although penniless might just be the word I was looking for. Oh, is it? I was wondering. Yesa Nosa. Oh, yes, sir, no, sir. Wow. In any case, the hour was already advanced beyond that of the midday luncheon. There remained precious few present with whom I could engage in discourse about matters of business. The gentleman beside me, who was grappling with his braised veal at the time, was my sole prospect. I see. Braised, huh? At that precise moment, a firearm was discharged. I observed the enemy's actions with my own eyes.
Yes!
So, you're saying that you actually saw me at that time? Affirmative. I saw you, laughing, cackling, like a madman as you trained the barrel of your gun on the English civilian. Is he just surprised at how funny his slap on the table sounds? But that's impossible. I only... Allow me to confirm just one point, please. What's that, Private? Thinking carefully about the statement you just made, it seems to me that it must have been just after you heard the gunshot that you looked over at the victim's table. And so what if it was? Well, if that really is the case, it would mean that you didn't in fact see the precise moment when the killer actually fired the gun. And double my sixth sense. Sorry? My sixth sense of danger. I picked up the waves of murderous energy radiating from your foul mind. Which means, a split second before you pulled the trigger, I was looking right at you, cadet. Surely that's not really possible, is it? Do you think I'd have got where I am today in the army if I couldn't sense danger in the air, son? Well, it would seem this soldier is absolutely convinced that he saw you do the deed. This is not good. Here we go. The black uniformed varsity cadet fired on the English civilian, and from the back, cowardly little weasel.
Yes!
This is the one. So this black uniformed university cadet, you're saying that was... I've had just about enough of your sauce, cadet. Who else do you see around here in a black uniform, Well, there's someone standing right next to me who fits that description as well, but... It was you, you little weasel! You unloaded that firearm on that man. I really hope it wasn't our friend who did it. Oh my goodness. I don't think it would be him, right? From behind his back, and you call yourself a citizen of the great empire of Nippon. You disgust me. What is it, Yunosuke? I'm not quite sure. It's something that the sergeant just said, but I can't put my finger on it. Something's playing on my mind. We're just going along with the motions of this tutorial, alright? We're going along with it. In that case, check back over the details of the evidence you've gathered in the court record. And if you find an inconsistency there with what the witness just said, then don't hold back. Present the evidence to the court. thrust it in the witness's face, and make him choke on it. Okay, I just want to press all of the lines first. I was on my hands and knees investigating the whereabouts of my mysteriously absconded precious curio.
Yes!
On your hands and knees. Could you explain that, please? That's right. Spurning the arthritis, I was, in order to retrieve... Spurning the arthritis, I was, in order to retrieve the lost piece. What lost piece are you referring to? The coin? The Koban, of course! The exquisite Hoei-era Koban coin. I'd just been showing the rare treasure to the military man as he masticated his meal. After averting my eyes for the briefest of moments, it was there no more. It simply vanished. The Koban vanished? Hence, I began to acquaint myself with the intricacies of the floor in order to locate it. And then it happened. You heard the gunshot, you mean? None other than. Though it was no occurrence of mine. Though it was no concern of mine. I was frantically scouring the floor for the aforementioned lost treasure. So, in fact, you didn't actually witness the precise moment when the incident occurred? Indeed. Myself, I did not. I have no idea what I'm supposed to do here. Listen, Ryunosuke. We know there are lies lurking in these statements. It's time to expose them. I understand that. The question is, how? Like I said before, the key to this is using evidence that you've collected. You can examine and present evidence while a witness is giving testimony by pressing R. Yeah, I'm enjoying it, Blossom. I'm going along with it. Go through each witness statement and the details about each piece of evidence and compare all the facts. There, somewhere in there, you'll find something that doesn't add up. In other words, an inconsistency. An inconsistency. When you find a statement and a piece of evidence that seems to contradict each other, present your evidence with X and rip the witness apart. Just be careful, because if you assert a contradiction that has no basis, you'll be given a penalty. If you're dealt too many penalties, the defense's case will fall apart and you'll receive a guilty verdict. Well, so that's it. Peruse the evidence in the court record and find an inconsistency with the witness's statement. All right, I'll give it a try. You can hear the witness's statements over and over again as many times as you like. So keep your head and be measured in your attack. Good luck, partner. I can go back? Okay. From the back. Present. Shot from the chest. Is this a objection? Take that or hold it?
Yes!
Yes, it's a yes. I vaguely recall, like, you know you're on the right track when the music stops. What are you playing at, cadet? What is the meaning of this subordination? Thrusting some photographic print in my mustache. Inconsistency, sir. I guess this is before they figured out the process, right? And he's new. I mean, yes, there's a clear inconsistency here. What nonsense! What can this print possibly tell us we don't already know? Well, obviously. That, I know what I want to say, but the words just won't come out of my mouth. Does anyone know what that kanji is on his fan? I think this proves beyond any doubt, Your Excellency, that there is no place for an amateur student here in this grand courtroom. This is so frustrating. Oh, please. Surely this doesn't require an explanation. It couldn't be more plain. To spell it out would be an insult to the court. Kazuma, what? What are you talking about? It's apparent from a single glance at the photographic print presented by the defense that there's a clear discrepancy here with the sergeant's statement. That's usually true? Gotcha. That sounds rude. What? Sergeant Iesanosa. Yes, sir. What, sir? The statement you just made was this. The black uniformed varsity cadet fired on the English civilian, and from the back, the cowardly little weasel. Yes, sir. Affirmative, sir. I witnessed the crime with my own military-grade eyes, sir.
Yes!
But no, that just can't be. And why not, cadet? Because... Take a close look at the print, ya dum-dum. The victim, Dr. Wilson, died from a bullet wound to the chest. Ah. Sergeant, according to your witness statement, the culprit shot the victim from behind. And that is the obvious discrepancy here. Well, how do you explain it? There's the baby. Oh, what? What was that? Something just popped up from behind his back, but he pushed it down again. Certainly, there is a clear discrepancy with the facts here. Would you not agree, Sergeant Nosa? Yes, sir. At this juncture, that would appear to be indisputable. Until the moment I heard the firearm discharge, my eyes were firmly fixated on the delicious Le Carnival steak, sir. What? The last testimony the court heard has proven one thing beyond all reasonable doubt. This witness, Sergeant Iesanosa, did not see the defendant firing a gun at all. That's absurd. I think the conclusion we must draw is simple. There is no place for an amateur prosecutor here in this grand courtroom. Got him. I don't like these achievement I hate all achievement notifications. I turn them off whenever I can. On every platform. I cannot turn them off here, I don't think. There's been a complete turnabout in the mood of this trial, just from that one discrepancy. So this is what being an ace attorney is all about. But I definitely saw him. Is there not a way? I didn't see one. Nope. There is not a way. But I definitely saw him. That university cadet there, he was pointing the firearm directly at the victim's back.
Yes!
But I never fired the gun. All I did was pick it up off the floor. Oh, there's two guns then. Huh? And you, old man, you didn't see the moment the victim was shot either? Myself, I have already been quite clear. The gunshot interested me not. I was far too busy on the floor. Oh yes, you were looking for your Koban coin, weren't you? Indeed. The prized Hoei-era Koban. Hunting around under the table, I was... in case mayhap it had fallen there. And then it happened. You heard the gunshot, you mean? Indeed I did, but I heeded it not, for I was concerned only with finding my absconded Hoei treasure. Nothing could distract me. Out of interest, did you find the coin in the end? No. Oh, it's still gone. I see. That lamentable day, the precious Hoei Koban was lost to me. No doubt some unscrupulous scoundrel pocketed the prized coin for himself. Whoa. As I am sure everyone present is aware, this case demands a swift and decisive resolution. Our government has promised to send a full report to Great Britain by telegraph this very afternoon. Nevertheless, the witness testimony the court has just heard was inconclusive. Raid from Game Crazy, what's up? Thank you very much. Mini dance party to celebrate. We have no music in this moment, but you can dance anyways. Thank you, Game Crazy, for the raid. No matter how subservient our government feels it must be to the British, it would be unforgivable to deliver a verdict on this trial right now. What is your position, Prosecutor Ouchie? Worry not, Your Excellency. The defendant may have fled a tiger at the front gate, but he will find a wolf at the back. I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying it at this time, Game Crazy. My witnesses have further testimony to make. Explain. Upon hearing their next statements, it will become abundantly clear that there is only one person who could possibly have committed this despicable crime. The equally despicable defendant, Ryunosuke Naruhodo. What? He really seems to have a despicable opinion of you, doesn't he? Ugh. Very well. The court invites the witnesses to testify again. You will thoroughly explain the reasoning behind the prosecution's allegation. Is that clear? As clear as Kiriko glass, Your Excellency. Yes, sir. At once, sir. Awaiting signal to testify, sir. Excuse me, but there's something or someone peeking out over your shoulder, I think. Affirmative. The newest member of the Noso family to rise up through the ranks, sir. Name, Ido. It would seem those straps are a sign of the sergeant being too strapped to afford a nanny. Ido. Tenshun! Your father is about to quell the enemy. Watch and learn, my boy. The true culprit. Even if what I saw wasn't the precise moment the firearm was discharged, it's almost the same thing. Yes, pointing his gun at the foreign man, he was. That young lad in black. That much I myself did see. Furthermore, a visual search of the premises at the time confirmed that we were the only personnel present. Indeed, alone he was, the Englishman, dining all by himself. Therefore, no one other than the black uniformed cadet could have dispatched the Englishman. Over and out.
Yes!
Wait, that's nonsense. Do we have the mysterious other person as a... We don't. Wait. That's nonsense. The victim, Dr. Wilson, wasn't alone at all. Please, enough of these outbursts already. But there was a woman. There was a young woman at his table. They're looking away. You must have seen her. Everyone there must have seen her.
Objection!
You call yourself a lawyer, then you will respect the rules of the court and speak accordingly. We are not here to listen to your fantasies. It is evident beyond all reasonable doubt that the victim was alone at the time of the incident. The prosecution has photographic evidence of this fact. Whoa. Let me look at my photo first real quick. Okay. Is this a photographic print of the scene of the crime, Counsel? Indeed, of the table at which the victim was dining, taken by an investigator immediately after the incident. As can plainly be seen, there is only one place set. Certainly, based on the appearance of this print, it would be reasonable to conclude that the victim was not in the company of anyone else. This doesn't make any sense. The court will add this new photographic evidence to the record. I don't understand. What's going on here? It's just not possible that nobody else saw that woman. The waiter before said the same thing. He maintains that Dr. Wilson came to the restaurant alone as well. But that's not true. I saw her. I swear that I saw a woman with him. It would seem that we'll be able to telegraph the report to Great Britain on time after all. The witness testimonies we have just heard leave no further room for doubt. These are very sensitive political times, as we all know. The ink is still fresh on the treaty with Great Britain. To think that I, Taketsuchi Aochi, will have contributed to the amity of these two great empires is an honor. How can this be happening? The judge is ready to rule. Stand tall, Ryunosuke. It's not over yet. What? If what you say is true, then there's something going on here behind the scenes. And now is your chance to expose it, to draw out the truth in your cross-examination. I don't know, Kazuma. The defense is entitled to cross-examine the witness, but make it quick, understood? Rules can be so unbending at times. Even if what I saw wasn't the precise moment the firearm was discharged, it's almost the same thing. Okay, we're just gonna press them all.
Yes!
No, it's not the same thing at all. For a start, I didn't fire that gun. We have a difference of opinion on that. The opinion of a uniformed officer versus that of a fledgling cadet. I don't think so. Consider this, defendant. Just a moment ago, I blinked. Did you? Did you see it? Did you see me blink? How could I? And yet, it is an undeniable fact that I did blink. So there you have it. Have what? Tenshun. The sound of the firearm rang in my ears, and the very next moment, I saw you waving the gun at the Englishman. I think that says it all, don't you? And let us not forget that the antiques dealer witnessed the accused in this most incriminating position as well. Isn't that so? Isn't that so, Korekuta-san? Oh, ... I can't reference earlier testimony, can I? Oops. Go back. Sorry, go back. Press.
Yes!
Yes, it may be true that I was holding the gun at that point in time. But I've told you already. That's only because I picked it up off the floor. Well, obviously, as a culprit, that's the only way you could explain it that way. I had just finished drinking my coffee, and I was about to leave the restaurant when I noticed the gun on the floor at Dr. Wilson's feet, so I picked it up. And at exactly that moment, bang, a gunshot rang in my ears. Did Nosa do it? Cause a commotion? Full of events beyond our control, life is. Sorry? What do you mean? In your case, you found a pistol on the floor and picked it up, which precipitated this testing predicament. Whereas, conversely, I failed to pick up the Koban from the floor and find myself in an equally testing predicament as a result. Anyway, the fact remains. Myself, I did see you, with pistol in hand, standing over the foreigner. A visual search of the premises at the time confirmed that we were the only personnel present.
Yes!
Ooh, I still can't figure out what happened in my head. You must have noticed someone else at Dr. Wilson's table. There was a lady there.
Objection!
As you have been at pains to point out time and time again. Time and again. I feel I'm growing a callus in my ear. And yet, no one else appears to have caught even a glimpse of this woman. If only there had been more people dining there at the time, then someone else would have noticed her. Unfortunately, it was already past 2 p.m. when it happened. The quiet time between lunch and dinner in any restaurant. I know. Of course the place was almost empty. It's what you'd expect. Certainly, 2 p.m. is neither here nor there in terms of a time to eat. I wonder if there was a reason why the victim was eating at that time of day, and why he was alone. Yes, Your Excellency, there was indeed a reason. There was? Here we go. Pressing every statement gives us more evidence, potentially. This was found in the victim's jacket pocket. What is that, Counsel? It is a medical report card, Your Excellency. It would seem that the victim had an appointment at a clinic prior to visiting the restaurant. What a clinic? Yes, there would indeed appear to be an entry for the date in question. 19th November, noon to past 1 p.m. The very day of the incident. So the victim went for a late lunch following his appointment. The explanation couldn't be more simple. The prosecution felt no need to submit this evidence before, as it really has no bearing on the case. I wonder. What do you think, Ryunosuke? Well, it is hard to see how it could be related, really. Remember, you can request for it to be entered into the court record as evidence if you think it could be useful. Should I ask for Dr. Wilson's medical report to be submitted as evidence or not? Ask for it, every piece.
Yes!
If I may, I'd like to ask for that medical report card to be submitted as evidence, Your Excellency. On what grounds? The court has already heard conclusive witness testimony. Additional evidence would be extraneous. Not to mention that the victim's movements prior to his arrival at the restaurant are of no concern.
Objection!
Whether or not they are of concern is up to us to decide. We have a right to explore all possible avenues. I beg your pardon? You have no authority to refuse a perfectly valid request for the submission of evidence. Very well. The court will grant the defense's request. Youngsters these days are forever asserting their rights. It's a most disturbing trend. That's a screenshot. Officer, kindly add the victim's medical report card to the court record. It's been entered. Let me take a look. I can't examine it. Shh. What we need right now is new clues. We have to explore things from every possible angle, even if they don't seem relevant at first. Right, I hear you. You can conspire to prolong this trial as much as you like, but it's the day after the festival already for you. Or perhaps you'd forgotten that these witness testimonies leave no room for doubt. Feel free to reiterate for the accused, Korekuta-san. Indeed, alone he was, the Englishman, dining all by himself. Did it move on to the next statement? Yeah, right?
Yes!
Press it. So you actually saw that with your own eyes, did you? The victim, Dr. Wilson, dining alone. That I did. Forgive me for the position I place you in. So the testimonies of the old man, the soldier, and the waiter all agree on that point. Isn't it interesting? And let us not forget the incontestable evidence we have to support their statements as well. As can clearly be seen, there is only a single beefsteak on the victim's table. No. The antiques dealer, the sergeant, and the waiter who testified before. It's not impossible that they're all lying. But if so, then why? If I'm perfectly honest, I have absolutely no idea. Therefore, no one other than the black uniformed cadet could have dispatched the Englishman. Over and out. Whoa, I don't know where this is going. Why aren't you telling the truth? What did you say, cadet? I clearly remember. There was a woman sitting across the table from the professor. Perhaps one of you might not have noticed. But for both of you to have failed to see the professor's dining companion, it's just not impossible. Or it's just not possible. Unfortunately for you, Defendant Naruhodo, it's not just a case of these two witnesses alone. Sorry. The waiter, whose testimony the court heard earlier, clearly stated the same thing. He also said that the victim was alone. That's right. Precisely. In other words, you are the sole proponent of this phantom lady. But if such a woman were indeed present at the scene, the prosecution demands to see proof. And if no such proof exists, the prosecution demands that no further mention of this phantom woman be made. It is a blatant waste of the court's time. There's nothing I can say to that. Excellent work, Ryunosuke. We've gleaned some new information now. Well, yes, but I don't feel like it changes much. I can't see that it brings any real discrepancies to light. I wouldn't be so sure. Yes, please. Let me see that medical report card you got before. Oh, you mean this? Yes. This is a brand new piece of evidence, so perhaps we should examine it in a little more detail. How exactly? You'll notice that some pieces of evidence bear a magnifying glass. These are the ones you may examine. Press A, and you can take a closer look at the piece in question. Okay. Here we go! What am I expecting to see on this? Somehow a mention of the person he was with? No. That he's not allowed to eat beef? Oh, maybe he's not allowed to eat... Maybe he's not allowed to eat meat. And so that table setting was for the other person and not for him. That's my guess. To rotate the evidence in all directions and examine it from all angles. And you can move the crosshairs around to hunt for clues that may have been missed before. If the crosshairs start to pulsate, press A to investigate further. So, partner, I think you should take a closer look at this medical report card. See if there isn't something new to be learned by examining it in more detail. Alright, I'll see what I can do. Medical report card required for every visit. It says Hota Clinic on it, on this medical report card. I hate clinics, almost as much as I hate hospitals and surgeries. Aren't they all the same? When I was 5, I caught the only cold I ever had in my life. And I remember, even though I felt awful already, I had to have this hideous injection in my right arm. I'll never forget it. Never in my whole life. Most people would give their right arm to have had only one cold in their whole life. Anyway, I don't think this is a clinic where they treat people for illnesses like that. Let's keep looking for clues. We don't want to miss anything. Dentist. It's a dentist. It looks like this medical report card was first issued quite some time ago. It's probably a record of long-term treatment, that's why. With a family doctor, I imagine. Well, I can't imagine. Going to a doctor, I mean. As long as I'm alive, I'm never consulting one. Well, if you were dead, there'd be no point. So, you don't like doctors then? Why would you? They make you drink horrible tasting medicine, they give you painful injections, then they demand lots of money of you for the privilege. And when you're at your lowest ebb... Sound like a model patient. With a bad case of stubbornness, no less, for which the only cure is a very bitter medicine indeed. Let's have a look. This is some kind of medical history. Ah, and there's an entry for the day the professor was killed. Maybe he had like some procedure and he wasn't allowed to eat for like 24 hours. Something like that. Here we go, dude! Extraction of molar with topical anesthesia. Extraction of molar? You mean he had a tooth taken out? It would seem so. Just before the incident, he'd had a bad tooth removed. Perhaps they use laughing gas. That's the most modern practice in the West for pain relief. Yes, I've heard of this anesthesia. Although it's hard to believe there's anything that can actually stop you feeling pain. Ah, there's a cautionary note from the medical practitioner as well. Strictly no food or drink besides water for 3 hours post-procedure. until anesthetic effects have passed. Really? Sounds like information worth bearing in mind. We did it. They didn't use sake? With this new information, the meaning of that one particular statement totally changes. So I think it's time we listen to the testimony again, don't you? Definitely. Classic tutorial mission. Blah, blah, blah. Pointing his gun. A visual search of the premises at the time confirmed that we were the only personnel present. Dining all by himself. Okay. Yeah, that's probably the statement, right? Objection, dude.
Yes!
Music stopped. Well, I think, about what are you wittering, lad? Call yourself a lawyer? I wish I could. But first and foremost, here, I'm the accused. Yunosuke. Everyone stumbles on their words occasionally. Under the circumstances, I wouldn't worry about it. Thanks, Kazuma. Shout out, Kazuma. Alright, if Kazuma is still a good guy after this first mission, then he's gonna be a victim in a later mission. He's dead. That's my prediction. Don't confirm or deny. He's either the bad guy in this one, or he's a victim in a later one. I could see it quite clearly in that cross-examination you just carried out. When you raised your hand straight up like that, so purposefully, you knew exactly what it was you wanted to say. Don't feel like you have to choose your words carefully. Just say what you're thinking. All right. And thanks for the advice. Horikuta-san. This is a medical report card belonging to the victim. Ah, I see. And I don't see. What of it, boy? Comparing what is written on this report card with your witness statement. Just a weak slap. Something clearly doesn't add up.
Objection!
Dear me, have you forgotten my words so soon, you amateur? Sorry, what? You are not to interrupt court proceedings with your amateurish drivel. But let's see if I can explain in words you might understand. It was after 2 p.m. in the afternoon when the victim was murdered at the restaurant. Whatever he may or may not have done before that time is completely irrelevant. But that's, remember, Yunosuke, you don't have to use clever language or fancy words. Just make your point. Your Excellency, I believe we're finished here. There is surely no need to prolong this trial further. The witness testimonies the court has heard have been clear and concise. This medical report card has no bearing on the matter at hand. On the matter at all. For the simple reason that there was no one else besides the pale-faced pupil who could... There it is. This medical report card has nothing to do with the case? Do you really believe that? What? That outburst half petrified me, boy. Of course I believe it. How could it possibly be relevant? Perhaps because Hotta Clinic, which issued the report card, is a dental clinic. A dental clinic? Is that supposed to mean something to me? Perhaps if I told you that the victim had just had a tooth extracted? What's this now? And furthermore, if I told you that as a result the victim had been forbidden from eating. Just what are you trying to say, cadet? He had orders not to eat? So what? It's all written up in here. In your freaking evidence. No food or drink other than water for 3 hours post-procedure while anesthesia wears off. What? No, that can't... Korikuta-san. What, boy? What? As you just heard, when he was killed sometime shortly after 2 p.m., the victim couldn't have been eating anything at all. No. Additionally, there's more? You have assured the court with unwavering self-confidence that the victim was dining alone. But that cannot possibly be the case. Because the victim, as we now know, had just had one of his teeth extracted and was still experiencing the effects of the anesthetic. Expertly done, partner.
Objection!
What is this nonsense, you little upstart? Oh, it's the kanji for guilty. Okay, thank you. Thank you for looking that up, Blossom. These are baseless accusations. Just look at this photographic evidence. You can clearly see that the plate of food... You can clearly see the plate of food at the victim's table.
Objection!
Use your head. That's the very discrepancy we're talking about. Or can't you follow the logic, you dum-dum? How dare you? I think it's fair to say that the tables in this restaurant case have turned. Wouldn't you agree, Ryunosuke? Yes, most definitely. So, having just undergone some dental surgery, the victim was unable to eat. Which leaves one very crucial conundrum. Who, in fact, was eating the pictured beefsteak? The court will hear the opinion of the defense on this new puzzle. I assume you're ready, counsel? Counsel? Oh, that means me, doesn't it? All right, the answer to this question is going to be pivotal. This is the start of you turning this trial around. Show them what you're made of. It's gonna ask us who was eating the beefsteak then, right? Is it the mystery lady or is it Nosa? Since he was talking about beefsteak. It's not Nosa, right? The person eating the steak at the victim's table must have been... an as yet unknown third party. The baby, yeah, the baby was eating it. Obviously, it can only have been someone else who was sitting at the professor's table.
Objection!
You will not let this go, will you? There was no such person.
Yes!
There was, because I saw her. Oh, I'm going to take the stand. When the incident occurred, we know that the victim couldn't have been eating anything. Yet we have evidence of a half-eaten steak on his table. Therefore, the only logical conclusion is that there was somebody else there eating it. We have strong evidence to support our assertion. It's clear that these witness testimonies are unreliable. If the court decides to push through a ruling at this stage, we will lodge a formal complaint with the Ministry of Justice and pursue a fair retrial, relentlessly. Kazuma, are you insane? You would take on the government? Don't worry, counsel. I have no issue with you. What do you mean? I have issue with them. Those two witnesses in the stand. What? What are you talking about? We have demonstrated with evidence that the victim was not alone. So, if it now turns out that the two of you deliberately lied when giving your testimonies, obviously you will be charged with perjury. Perjury? And since this is a murder trial, you will also be deemed complicit in the killing. Whoa, okay. Complicit in murder? Hold it. Negative. There was no mention of this at the tactical meeting. Oh. I was just following orders. Classic. That's right, as the man says. Oh my goodness, here it is. Just say you never saw the gentlewoman. That's what they told us. Oops. Oh. What? What did you just say, Korikuta-san? Oh, no. Dude, he goofed. You were just following orders? Now, hold on, lad. I was, Say you never saw the gentlewoman? Ugh. When you say gentlewoman, do you mean you saw the victim with the lady from overseas? What?
Objection!
What? What is the meaning of all this? These witnesses gave false statements? Is that true, you pair? Just one simple slip of the tongue. Holy cow. Order. Counsel, explain what is going on here. It's painfully clear now. You tried to prevent these witnesses from telling the truth. Absolutely not. The prosecution knows nothing of this. Then who's behind this? Who tried to make you keep your mouth shut? Well, that's classified. So you're prepared to be tried as a conspirator to this murder, are you? You wouldn't. This can't be happening. Yunosuke, judging from the way they're reacting to this, I'd say they were sworn to silence by someone with considerable influence. However, I don't believe Aochi had any idea about it. What are you saying? I mean, to wield that kind of influence, there are only a handful of possibilities. Yeah, for sure. He's just doing his job. He's an asshole. It really is, Raptor. Have you played any of these games, or were you around when Audrey and I streamed the earlier one? There are only a handful of possibilities. It could only have been the government, the military, or the police, I suppose. Well, any ideas who might be behind this? If we can affirm who tried to silence these witnesses, then we can continue our pursuit. 3DS demo once? Gotcha. With a whale, as in there was a whale in the story? Or are you friends with a whale? So we need to name whoever it was that tried to make the witnesses keep their mouths shut. Of course, we'll need evidence before we make any firm accusations. What? Raptor, what did you know? Evidence that proves whoever it was really did wield his or her power here. But how? How can we possibly... Remember how we made progress before? We examined this piece of evidence in more detail and found a new clue as a result, the business card. Oh yes, that's right. Well, that's not the only piece of evidence we have, is it? We need to re-examine everything and make sure there's nothing we've missed. There's no time to lose. I want answers. If it's proven that these witnesses have been manipulated, I assure you, the penalty will be severe. Alright, the waiter was a government agent, something like that. No, part of like some rebel group that is trying to frame a Japanese university student for killing a foreigner to chip away at the trust of the treaty that was most recently signed. That is my guess. Please, wait. Your Excellency, I had no idea about any of this. I swear to every Shinto god. All of them. I knew nothing. What does the defense have to say about all this? Well, Your Excellency. No time to think. Alright, sorry, at this pivotal moment, I'm going to take a quick restroom break, and then we'll come back to review our evidence. We'll be back in just a few minutes to proceed with this case. Thank you. We're back. Thank you for your patience. No time to think. I'm just going to have to close my eyes and shout out the first name that comes into my head. Wait, no, check the court record first, right? Besides the prosecution, the only person with the necessary influence to manipulate the witnesses is... Wait, what?
Yes!
No! What the fuck? I didn't mean to press that. I meant to go here and examine this. Fuck. Why did I do that? Breaking the sequence here. This plan of the restaurant raises a number of questions, I think. Definitely. It's supposed to show the relative position of everything in the moments following the incident. But there's nothing to show the woman that you saw there. Exactly. And that's not all. Look here in the upper left, where it says kitchen. Oh yes. What of it? No one would use those complicated characters to write kitchen. Especially not if they were in a hurry. You mean you don't remember those characters yourself, don't you? Study harder, Ryonosuke. Okay. Here it is. He's police. Whoa, that's unexpected. What is? Look. Do you see it says the witness's name here? Satoru Hosonaga? Well, yes, business cards do tend to show the person's name. That's sort of the point. It's not the name that's unexpected. It's his job title. His job. Oh. Chief Inspector Satoru Hosonaga. Primary Criminal Investigation Division. Imperial Police Bureau. So police are not down with the treaty. Inspector? What on earth? I have no idea. But let's face it, the police have a lot of power and influence. They're wielding it somehow here. The waiter's business card information has been updated in the court record. What a mistake by this guy. Okay, well, I chose to bring the wrong person up. Can I rewind? There, what do you make of that? I think, counsel, that you may want to close your ears as well as your eyes. 'Cause you goofed. Otherwise, the size of disappointment in the courtroom may very well deafen you. Ah. If you feel you must close your eyes in a crisis, might I suggest you keep your mouth shut next time too? Otherwise, I may have to use the influence I have in this courtroom to shut it permanently. I don't know what it is about that prosecutor exactly, but he really makes me wince in pain sometimes. I don't have a great deal of influence myself, but believe me, I can find other ways to make you keep your mouth shut as well. Alright, don't get angry. I'll think again. There must be a clue somewhere in all that evidence in the court record. You see, it's just on that screen where I had to select a person. It didn't let me go back to the court record, right? Actually, now that I think about it, there might be some pieces of evidence I haven't thoroughly examined yet. So I was meant to, like, not wait till the last second. That's going to be important later. Right. As soon as we got to... Yeah, as soon as we got here, it won't let me... Yeah, I can't go to the court record from here.
Yes!
It's this freaking guy. Well, surely that would be... Satoru Hosonaga-san. Hosonaga-san, the waiter who took the stand earlier?
Objection!
Poppycock! What possible reason would the waiter have to make these witnesses give false testimony? Not to mention the fact that even a head waiter could not possibly have that level of influence. For once, I would agree with you. If, that is, the man truly were a waiter. What? If he truly were? Come on, Yunosuke. Time to hit this court with the truth. The truth about Satoru Hosonaga-san's real identity, as proven by this evidence.
Yes!
The plan of the restaurant sketched by the man in question? I agree it shows a great deal of attention to detail. But I'm not sure we can conclude anything. Sorry, Your Excellency. It's the back of the card. It's the back of the card that's of interest. I beg your pardon? Or perhaps I should have said the front? Yes, it's the front of the back of the card. That's where the telling detail is. Would somebody please explain what this overexcited student is trying to say? Hosonaga-san sketched the plan of the restaurant on the reverse side of his business card. The front of that business card reveals the man in question's profession, his true profession. The waiter's profession? But that's surely... Good gracious. That's right, Your Excellency. The card reads, Chief Inspector, Primary Criminal Investigation Division, Imperial Police Bureau. What? The waiter is a police detective? I haven't heard any mention of this before. Why haven't I heard any mention of this before? The Imperial Police Bureau have immense power. Absolute power as far as regular civilians are concerned. So, witnesses there in the stand? Was it in fact the waiter who gave you those orders? Gave you your orders? Was it he who told you not to mention that you'd seen this foreign gentlewoman at the scene? Well... Hold it. Inspector Hosonaga. I was worried something like this may happen. Thank you, Samantha. I'll have some tea. Tofu has entered the room, by the way. The moment you asked me to submit my sketch as evidence, I realized it was a possibility. The court will take this plan and add it to the court record as evidence. Oh, well... Is there a problem? Hand the plan to the court officer at once. Of course, here you are. Yes, I remember now. He did act strangely when the judge asked him to hand over his business card. I strive to carry out all investigations flawlessly. It's my guiding principle. But I let myself be distracted when I made that sketch. It was an unusually careless mistake. So, you mean to say, you really are a detective? But why would a detective be working as a restaurant waiter? Ah, of course! Your salary must be... I was working undercover. Undercover? Yes, there have been a series of incidents at the restaurant lately. In order to investigate, I decided to get a job there as a waiter, working undercover. Ooh, what's going on here? Is it the old guy, the antique dealer? has been like scamming people. I don't know. Incidents at the restaurant? What kind of incidents? Tell me shootings. That would be classified police information, which I am not at liberty to divulge. However, I can state categorically that they are unrelated to this case of homicide. Very well then, Inspector Hosonaga, but you will elaborate on one point for the court. Of course, Your Excellency. We have just heard new information from the two witnesses beside you. That at the time of the shooting, there was in fact another person present at the victim's table. If that is indeed true, clearly you would also have been aware of this person's presence, having served at the table in question. However, your testimony did not allude to this other diner. Therefore, I am led to assume that in your professional capacity as a police officer, you require these witnesses to be in agreement. Would that be correct? Correct, Your Excellency. Unbelievable. As I suspected. The witness tampering. As soon as I heard the gunshot, I ran out of the kitchen to see what had happened. The victim sat slumped in his chair, and beside him, gun in hand, stood the accused student. Sitting opposite the victim at the same table was a young lady, whom I guessed to be an Englishwoman. So the truth comes out. I immediately sealed off the restaurant and reported the incident to the bureau. It was then that I received some special orders. Okay, this is getting really interesting. Special orders? You mean to say, remove the Englishwoman from the scene at once. It was made clear that the Englishwoman's presence at the restaurant was to be concealed. Those were my orders. But what if this Englishwoman was the killer? I think it would be in everyone's best interest not to pursue that idea. The Empire views the friendly terms of its relationship with Britain more highly than anything at the moment. An Englishman has been murdered on our soil. To name an Englishwoman as the primary suspect, well, without irrefutable evidence, that would be completely out of the question. So that's the reason for the disappearance of the Phantom Woman in this case. But it's not right. F all these people, dude. One possibility does spring to mind. What do you mean, Kazuma? Yume University is currently hosting a number of exchange students from Great Britain. And I'm fairly certain that one of them, studying in the medical faculty's research laboratory, is a young Englishwoman. What? You're a shrewd man. I can see why you're the chosen candidate for the overseas study tour. You mean, when I removed the woman from the scene of this crime, I thought it prudent to check her identity first. Yes, thank you, Judge. Then the court demands you name the lady in question at once, Inspector. The Englishwoman sitting at the university professor's table was a certain Giselle Brett. She is indeed a foreign student studying in the research laboratory of Yume University's medical faculty. What is happening here? I admit that under orders from the police bureau, I erased all evidence of this lady's presence at the scene and ordered these witnesses to make no mention of her in their testimonies. It must now be up to Your Excellency to decide how to deal with this situation. You're all in trouble. Very well. My thoughts on the matter are as follows. Thus far, the case presented to the court has been underpinned by a particularly critical premise, namely, that the victim was dining alone. However, as we have now discovered that this premise is false, it would be a desecration of our justice system to ignore the truth and give a ruling at this point. Shout out.
Objection!
But, Your Excellency, that would mean missing the noon deadline of a ruling in order to send the telegraphic report to Great Britain. Our own government will surely be displeased by such actions. Calm yourself, Counsel. I will not allow the government of our country or any other to influence the proceedings of my courtroom. Inspector Hosonaga? Yes, sir. You will locate this Giselle Brett and escort her to the courtroom with the utmost urgency. At once, Your Excellency. But that means you'll be going against the special orders you were given from the police bureau. As I said before, it is my guiding principle to carry out all investigations flawlessly. So, it won't be a problem? Nothing will get in my way. He's dying. Court will adjourn briefly. The prosecution must call the English student Giselle Brett to the witness stand. Do I make myself clear? Yes. Your Excellency! Good. Then we will have a 30-minute recess before reconvening. To be continued. Whoa. To be continued. Okay, honestly, I think that might be a good place to stop. I thought we were going to wrap up the whole case in one thing, but that's kind of a nice stopping point for today. Let's just go back to here. I'm really enjoying this. Thank you guys for tuning in. To answer the question, am I having a good time and do I want to stream this more? Yes, we at least have to finish this first case, right? So look forward to more of this in my next stream. I'll also try to prepare a little more. Maybe do some vocal exercises and prepare hot tea with honey right off the bat before the stream starts. I don't speak this much in my normal life, so it's affecting me, but I guess I've been out of practice with talking on stream a lot. This case is surprisingly long for tutorial. Yeah, but it is ramping up. I do appreciate that the complexity is helping keep it engaging despite it feeling like a tutorial case, if that makes sense, Blossom. Right? If it was like way more straightforward, it wouldn't be as engaging. But we gotta know what's going on. Conspiracy with the police. The dynamics of the characters and the setting are really cool with the Japan-English relationship. Yeah, it's not inconsequential in any way. I feel engaged. So please look forward to more of this. Probably tomorrow I will post this upcoming week's stream schedule. But I anticipate streaming more of this probably on Thursday. So look forward to that. Otherwise, I hope you guys have a great rest of your Sunday. Here's some links in chat, though. The usual invite link to our Discord server, our Instagram, and youtube.com/Reyony. That's where we upload higher quality recordings of our streams. Check it out. Use the games played command in chat to go to a spreadsheet that lists everything we've streamed. Maybe check out the link to our Phoenix Wright stream. We just did one and it was fun. But yeah, thank you guys very much. Thanks for the recommendations for stream games. but look forward to more The Great Ace Attorney adventures in the next stream. Yeah, and I'm glad you recommended it. Thanks, Blossom. Thanks, everyone, for hanging out. I'll see you soon. Have a good night and have a great start to your week. Goodbye.